frequent MSNBC guest, Kurt Bardella, says it's actually Republicans who are disconnected from the middle class. Here he is last week.
Governing is about prioritizing, and for some reason, Republicans in Congress have made the calculation that they'd rather spend time chasing phantom investigations against the Biden family, that they'd rather double down on an agenda that was clearly rejected by the majority of Americans in the last midterm election. And so instead of talking about the kitchen table issues, the inflation, the economy, the things that they actually ran on in the midterm elections, they're doing something completely different.
And Kurt is with us now, Democratic strategist, LA's Times contributor, former House GOP Oversight Committee advisor. Kurt, good to see you. There's a difference, though, right, between her point and your point. Two things can be true at once, that Republicans fighting amongst themselves is great for Democrats, fine, and the Democratic Party in Congress does not look like the Democratic Party in the voters that they say they represent.
Well, I agree with you that two things can be true at the same time. And this is why I've said for all the people in the establishment media in the Beltway bubble who don't understand why Donald Trump won in 2016 in the first place, I always say, you need to go to a country music concert. I spend a lot of my life in the world of country music, going to country concerts, and I can tell you, when you go to those shows and you see audiences in different places, like in Arkansas, like in the Midwest, in Nashville, all across this country, you see a very different America than the one that we see here in Washington. But I think it's both parties that are guilty of this. I think both parties get too caught up in the Beltway BS and the chatter and the inside baseball. It's the same, let's remember, it's a Republican Party that also makes fun of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who was a bartender. I mean, it doesn't get more blue-collar than being a bartender, and they mock her for that, too. Both parties do this.
Well, she's a... Okay, come on. Yeah, right. Okay, but she's also a bartender who drives a Tesla now and certainly and goes to the Met Gala, okay, with a dress that says tax the rich. But put that point aside. You talk about country music concerts. As a huge country music fan, we're going to have a discussion about that some other time. But electric and hybrid vehicles per 100,000 people. This is the map. People who listen to country music concerts aren't buying EVs, and we can see that on the map because in the middle there's really no electric vehicles. That said, now, why, if Democrats want to reach these voters, how is talking and lecturing about electric vehicles going to do it?
Well, I think that there's also a reason why Ford decided to come out with their first electric F-150 truck, because that's the audience that they do want to reach, and they're trying to make a concerted effort to do that. I think in a lot of ways, you follow the trend of what a lot of the companies that cater to this part of the country, like Ford, like Chevy, there's a race right now to try to appeal to those people.
Kurt, you and I both,
and that's why they're making it. They would not be making that truck if they didn't want to reach those people. Why would you waste the money to do that, man? Come on.
Because they're doing it. They're doing it for the tax credits, and they're doing it because they want the good PR, and they're doing it because in California there's contractors and guys who want to be seen driving F-150s who will buy electric ones, okay? They're not doing it for guys where I come from in Missouri.
I think that they think there's a big consumer audience for this. We'll find out. And listen, hey, in 5 years, maybe they're not going to be making it anymore, and you're right. Time will tell. I can't sit here right now and say I know for sure that it's going to not work. They're making the bet that it will, and I think that there's a reason why they're pushing very hard on that. And, hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you want to drive an F-150 electric vehicle, God bless you. Yeah, we can make, consumers can make choices. That's a great thing about our economy. People can decide what they want to do.
Drive whatever you want. The prices of used Teslas now are crashing because people aren't buying them. But I go back to what this Congresswoman says. And it's an issue within the Democratic Party about whether or not it looks like, and they have people inside Congress who are like themselves. And you think about, you brought up Donald Trump winning in 2016. If Democrats are continuing down this road, does that not open up Donald Trump 2024 or Ron DeSantis 2024 on these same issues?
Well, I think, again, this is an issue that both parties need to figure out how to communicate best, because I think both parties have blind spots here.
Right,
I think when you have a Republican...
But let me
make this point. Like, Republicans just they announced all of their chairmen for their congressional committees, right? Every single one of them was white. That's not reflective of America in general, in my opinion. I think Democrats have at times, and this has come out. Let me finish. Democrats.
Okay.
I'm going to get to Democrats now. Democrats have made the mistake of coming off as elitist and judgmental. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I've heard the most, going to 50, 60 concerts a year from people out in America, is they feel the Democratic Party is out to judge them, to attack them, to cancel them. That is, and I've said this publicly, that's a big problem for the Democratic Party brand, that a lot of people identify that type of adjective with the Democratic Party. They have to fix that.
Yeah, well, you did indeed say it, which says a lot. Hey, it's good to see you. We've been asking you to come join us for a long time. We're glad it finally worked out, and we hope you come back.
Hey, thanks for having me, my friend. We'll see you out there on the road, too, hopefully at a country concert, man.
There you go. Friends in low places. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.